Welcome to 5 True Singles. This story is from Denise Crosby and was recorded August 18th, 2013. The theme was, Look What I Did, stories of accomplishments, triumphs, and other things we thought we'd never do.
Welcome to the stage, Denise Crosby!
It's about fucking time. Okay. Christ, Sunday night, my show. I'm missing my own show. God damn. Tell you guys a fucking story. Okay, I got a story for you. I'm gonna name names though, okay? None of this thingy you do, this. Okay, I'm gonna name names, and I don't usually do that, because come on, man, we're in LA. We all know people, I mean, I've probably slept with people really know, you would recognize immediately, but I'm not gonna go there. So, but for the purpose of the story, I have to name names, okay? So, the year is 1987. And 1987 isn't a particularly eventful year. I mean, trust me. The Minnesota Twins won the World Series, and yeah, Twins fan. They were they had the worst history of regular season play that ever won the World Series in history. Nirvana was formed, though, okay? Andy Warhol died in 1987, and RoboCop premiered. So, 1987 is, not that great. However, I am doing my very first television series called Star Trek: The Next Generation. Please hold your applause until I and it is, and I'm working at Paramount Studios, and it's very exciting. And John Landis happens to also be directing at the same time at Paramount Studios a film called Coming to America, starring Eddie Murphy. And we are working at the Lot at the same time. Now, I'm not really fond of John Landis, I'm going to admit, at this time. And there's a number of reasons. Most importantly is the fact that I really feel the guy got away with murder, literally, when the terrible debacle of Twilight Zone, the movie, happened, and three actors died while making that movie, one of which was the actor Vic Morrow, and two very innocent young children who were illegally hired knowingly to make this film. And I watched, this was before OJ, this was like the Hollywood, go-to celebrity trial before the OJ Simpson trial. And I was watching this on TV and following it in the newspapers, and I was devastated when the not guilty verdicts came down. So I was not keen on John Landis, and I was really not that fond of Eddie Murphy, to be truthful. I was in a movie with him called 48 Hours, which happened to be our very first movie together, our very first movie at all. It was his first movie, it was my first movie. And to be honest, he was really full of himself, and he was really a bit of a dick. So I didn't really care for Eddie Murphy. However, Will Wheaton, who I was working with on the set of Star Trek, happened to be 14 years old. and he had not yet become an old, fat, jaded movie star that didn't, you know, that really hadn't lost the wide-eyed enthusiasm and was really kind of excited that Eddie Murphy and the guy who directed Michael Jackson's Thriller happened to be working at the Paramount Lot across from the soundstage from us. So Will wanted to, like, meet them and thought, you know, hey man, we're all working at Paramount together. We're all doing that, you know. It's 1987 and we're all making it happen in Hollywood. And you know, Eddie comes down the lane with his entourage, and I'm talking entourage. He's got like a lot of people protecting him. And there's John Landis, and Will goes up to introduce himself like, hi, you know, and Will Wheaton, by the way, had done Stand By Me, one of the great American films. And Will Wheaton was like the most famous kid in the whole cast at that point, you know? And he just wanted to meet these guys. And I was standing there and I watched them walk by and totally snub him. They weren't interested in some 14-year-old kid in a spacesuit who happened to be sharing the, you know, soundstage next to them. They were Hollywood movie stars. And I saw this and I said, oh no. Oh no. This is not gonna happen. So I came up with a plan. So we go back to stage 9, which was the set of our bridge on Star Trek: The Next Generation, and Will and I had a little bit of downtime. So all day I had been watching the most beautiful African dancers in these exquisite feathered and beaded headpieces and, you know, beautiful taunt bodies just milling about on the Paramount Lot. And they were all filming this giant dance sequence that day, which was a major scene in the movie and you know, an integral part of the film. And John Landis's wife was choreographing this whole bit. And they were all kind of moseying about. So Will and I had some downtime. And I said, Will, let's go watch them shoot. Let's go, you know, over on this stage and watch them shoot. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, we're not needed for a little bit. And he goes, cool. So I grab Will's hand and we cross the little lane at Paramount Studios and go to the, you know, sound stage. And we're sort of hanging around and we open the door and nobody notices anything. And we walk into this gigantic sound stage filled with dancers and extras. And John Landis is choreographing and directing this gigantic number, a big African number, and he's off on some mock stage looking at a video monitor. He's not even around, and his voice is on loudspeaker. And it's a bunch of starts and stops. The music cues come up, and the dancers do their thing, and, you know, it's a little bit of film, and they stop and cut. And Will and I are sort of, you know, hanging around the side in our 24th century spacesuits. And everyone else is wearing, you know, probably the same thing our ancestors wore from the beginning of time. But we're just, you know, quietly hanging around. And I'm watching this, and I'm watching, and I'm getting the lay of the land, and I'm checking out the logistics and the stage. And I grab Will's hand, and I make our way in the middle of all these dancers. And the dancers are all looking at us like, wow, that's okay. We're cool. We're cool. And Will and I just weave our way into the middle of this giant number. And we're sort of strategically hiding behind a couple of dancers. And suddenly, cameras roll, sound, action. And Will and I just start going, and we are going, and it feels like forever. And this must have gone on for about a minute or two. And we're trying to do whatever we see them doing. And suddenly I hear, cut. What the fuck is going on? And I grab Will's hand, and he and I run as fast as we can, break open the soundstage, run across Paramount, break open stage 9 into our safe haven. And we are on stage 9, our bridge, our set. No fucking feathers allowed, Mr. Landis. Okay? And we are huffing and puffing, and we are like, oh my fucking God. And some of the crew is looking at us like, are you guys okay? What's going on? And we are laughing our asses off because we have gotten away with this. We have done it. We have triumphed. There's some sort of justice has been served. I fucked up John Landis's movie. And Vic Morrow and those two innocent kids are somehow looking at us and high-fiving us from heaven. And that's it.
The story that you just heard was the absolute truth.